I was the office's fun woman, running Xbox Fridays, playlists, and parties. Then my boss docked my review for attitude. So, I stopped. Within weeks, productivity died. HR stepped in, and I got promoted to fix the mess he created. Hey Reddit, I used to be the woman keeping my office sane, running the memes, playlists, and free snacks. Didn't get paid for it. Didn't complain either. Then, management decided to make it weird. Before it all went sideways, let me start from the beginning. My name is Janet J. Duke. I'm 29, and I work as an operations coordinator at a company called Redline Solutions. I've been here 4 years, which apparently makes me a senior citizen in corporate years. My actual job description says something about streamlining workflows, but somewhere along the line, I became the woman who keeps everyone from losing it. Unofficial title, the Vibes Department. Most mornings start the same. I unlock the floor and drop my backpack by my desk. On Fridays, I post the Slack poll, something simple like, would you rather have Control Z in life or delete Mondays forever? Within 5 minutes, half the office votes and starts arguing about it. It's honestly the only time people type in full sentences before 10 o'clock a.m. After that, I do my rounds, restock the mini fridge with Red Bull and water, throw out the expired snacks, and wipe down the counter. There's a handwritten sign taped to the fridge that says, take one, leave good vibes. I wrote it as a joke 2 years ago, and somehow it's still there. Then I queue up the Office playlist, mostly 2000s hits everyone pretends to hate but secretly loves, and check the meme channel. That channel is basically my child. It's full of dumb screenshots, inside jokes, and the occasional cursed PowerPoint meme. It's also probably the only reason most of us haven't rage quit yet. The lineup. Brad Coleman, our fearless manager, talks like he swallowed a LinkedIn webinar. Every meeting starts with something like, let's align our synergy and ideate around deliverables. He says value add, so often I think he invoices people per usage. Cara Bloom from HR is genuinely nice, just aggressively cheerful. She once made a color-coded spreadsheet for Gratitude Week. She means well, though, and she's one of the few people here who actually listens. Marcus Lee handles finance. Quiet, sarcastic, always has trail mix. He's the only one who gets my jokes, which I respect. When Marcus laughs, it's a major achievement. Tasha Guion is our designer and the agent of chaos. She's the one who once changed the conference room wallpaper to Shrek memes to boost morale. She's funny, fast, and slightly terrifying during deadlines. And then there's Trevor Halpern, new guy, project coordinator, transferred from another branch, and immediately started acting like he's here to fix our workflow culture. He wears a tie on casual Fridays, sends recap emails after meetings that could have been a Slack message, and says things like, let's optimize that touch point, with a straight face. His favorite phrase is looping Brad in. He says it like he invented it. There are a few others floating around. Developers, marketing, sales, but most only appear when there's free food or cake. Every Friday afternoon, I set up Xbox Friday in the break room. It started as a joke during a brutal sprint a few years back when everyone was burned out. Now it's a full-blown ritual. We play Call of Duty, NBA 2K, FIFA, eat tacos, and talk trash for a few hours. The office actually feels alive. I also run Taco Tuesday polls in Slack, which are way more intense than they should be. Last week, the debate about flour versus corn tortillas turned into a 2-day thread. Tasha made a meme about it, and somehow it ended up in a client presentation slide Brad used. Nobody questioned it. That's pretty much the dynamic here. Organized chaos held together with caffeine and sarcasm. I keep it from tipping into full disaster. People come by my desk to vent, share weird links, or grab a drink. Sometimes I fix the printer. Sometimes I calm down clients. Sometimes I just hand someone a cold soda and say, try again tomorrow. None of it's required, but it keeps things running smoother. One morning, I'm restocking the fridge when I hear Trevor in the hallway talking to Brad, voice all serious. I just think the meme channel might be distracting some people from core tasks. Brad goes, interesting, like he's about to conduct a productivity study. Tasha walks in behind me, rolls her eyes, and whispers, bet he writes synergy on his grocery list. When I go back to my desk, Brad gives me that fake friendly smile. Hey, Janet, quick question. Do we really need memes in the general workspace? I shrug. They boost morale. Cheaper than therapy. He chuckles like I made a good point, but still doesn't get it. Right, just making sure we're aligned. That's the thing about this place. Management wants fun culture, but the second someone actually has fun, they start sweating. Trevor keeps forwarding articles about productivity. Brad keeps saying team synergy like it's a spell. And I keep doing what I do, keeping the lights on while pretending it's part of the job. By noon, people drift over to my desk like usual. Marcus grabs a drink from the fridge, tosses me a bag of chips. Tasha shows me a meme draft she's saving for Monday. Kara walks by smiling, says, "You're the only reason people still come in on Fridays." Maybe she's right, maybe I am. But I don't think too much about it. I don't get a raise for it or a thank you email. But I know one thing for sure. When I stop doing it, everything slows down. So yeah, I never signed up to be the office mascot. But somehow that's exactly who I became. The day everything started going downhill was the day Brad won an award, Leadership Excellence Award, for building a culture of engagement. That was the full title. It sounded impressive until you realized culture of engagement basically meant me keeping the place from collapsing. They held a little ceremony during our Friday meeting. Someone from upper management joined the Zoom call to announce it, and Brad did his fake modest laugh, saying, "Oh, this is really a team effort." Then he launched into a 10-minute speech that sounded like he was reading a thesaurus of business jargon. Empowerment, alignment, innovation, synergy. He didn't mention my name once, not a single word about the meme channel or the Xbox Fridays, or how I'd been keeping morale alive since before half the team got hired. Marcus leaned over and whispered, "Guess culture means taking credit efficiently." Tasha looked at me and mouthed, "You should have gotten that." I just smiled like it didn't bother me, but it did. I wasn't expecting a trophy, but hearing your boss get praised for the stuff you built feels weird, like someone else getting Employee of the Month for using your Netflix login. After the meeting, Brad came by my desk holding the plaque. "They'll be sending out a company-wide email about it," he said, all proud. "We're really setting a benchmark for engagement." I nodded. "Yeah, sounds like it." He didn't notice the sarcasm. He never does. That would have been fine on its own, but the second hit came a week later. It started with a meme. I made a corporate buzzword bingo board just for fun. Each square had words like synergy, circle back, low-hanging fruit, action items, and my personal favorite, proactive ideation. I added vibes check in the center for free space. I dropped it in our team's meme channel with the caption, "Winner gets to leave the meeting 5 minutes early." People loved it. The reactions blew up. Laugh emojis, raccoon stickers, even Kara from HR dropped a LOL. A couple of hours later, I noticed Trevor had commented, "This is hilarious," sharing it with the other project group. I should have known. By the next morning, it had spread to a wider company Slack thread, including managers and one executive from HQ. Someone even printed it and taped it to the break room whiteboard. I got a message from Brad at 8:17 a.m. "Can you swing by my office for a quick sync?" That's never a good sign. When I walked in, he looked serious. The meme was on his screen. We need to be careful with this kind of content. Some people might take it the wrong way. I said, "It's a joke, Brad. Everyone thought it was funny." He sighed like he was about to deliver bad news on live TV. Leadership has to maintain professionalism. Humor's fine, but optics matter. I wanted to say, "You got your award for the culture I built, and now you're mad the culture's funny." But I didn't. I just nodded. Then came strike 3. The next day, Brad posted a long message in Slack about revolutionizing synergy and cross-functional alignment. It was so over the top I couldn't resist. I dropped a Michael Scott facepalm gif from The Office under it. 15 minutes later, I got a calendar invite. Chat with HR. When I walked in, Kara was sitting there with a manila folder and that careful HR smile, the kind that says, "This isn't personal, but it's definitely bad news." There were printed screenshots of my meme and the gif on the table. "We just wanted to have a quick conversation about tone and professionalism," she said. Some employees felt the content might not align with company values. Trevor was in the corner pretending to take notes, nodding like a concerned guidance counselor. I said, "Some employees or one employee?" Kara ignored that. It's nothing formal, just a reminder to be mindful of communication tone. I apologize because that's what you do in HR meetings. Got it. Won't happen again. But inside, something just clicked off. I wasn't mad exactly, just done. Fine. You want professional? I'll be professional. I'll be silent. That night, I sat on my couch with my laptop open thinking about it. Maybe they were right. Maybe I joked around too much. Then I remembered all the unpaid hours I'd spent planning fun events, cleaning up after office lunches, buying snacks out of my own pocket. None of that was my job, but I did it because it made the place bearable. And the second it made management look bad, suddenly it was a tone issue. That was a Friday. Over the weekend, something just clicked off. If they wanted sterile professionalism, they were going to get it. Starting Monday, no memes, no jokes, no free morale. For the following Monday, the silence spread fast. Slack used to light up with memes and random thoughts. Now it was just project updates and the occasional thanks. The meme channel sat untouched. The last post was still my buzzword bingo meme, pinned like an artifact from a better time. At 5:00 p.m., sharp, I unplugged the Xbox from the break room TV, coiled the cable, and took it home. Nobody said a word. By midweek, the fridge started turning into a war zone again. Passive-aggressive sticky notes returned like weeds. Who took my Chobani? Not cool to eat someone's lunch. Label your stuff. Some of us are adults. I missed when the worst argument was whether pineapple belonged on pizza. Meetings felt like dentist appointments. Brad would try to make small talk, but it always came out awkward. Hey, Janet, all good? Yep. Okay, great energy. Let's keep that momentum. Then he'd look around like he'd just said something inspiring, and the rest of us would stare at our screens until it was over. The first real test came when finance announced snack budget cuts. Apparently, the company was tightening discretionary spending. Brad forwarded the email to the team and added his own note. Remember, snacks are a privilege, not a right. He probably thought it was motivational. It wasn't. Within a week, the break room shelves were empty. No chips, no granola bars, not even stale pretzels. You'd think we were living through a famine. So, I started Snack Cart, bought a few boxes of chips and sodas from Costco, stocked them in my bottom drawer, and sold everything at cost. No profit, no markup, just basic survival. Word spread fast. People started dropping by with $1 and a tired face. The whole office started running on autopilot. No jokes, no banter. Even Kara stopped sending her cheerful gifts in the general channel. People came in, worked, and left. It was efficient in the most depressing way possible. You could feel how unnatural it was. Meetings used to start with jokes. Now they began with, "Let's jump right in." The air felt heavy. Even the coffee machine broke down again, like it gave up too. A few days later, Tasha tried to fix things. She posted a meme in the old channel, a raccoon holding a coffee cup with the caption, "Running on caffeine and trauma." Normally, it would have blown up with reactions. This time, nothing. Not a single emoji. She deleted it after 3 minutes. That's when it really hit me. The place was quiet, not just in sound, but in spirit. People used to hang around the break room talking about movies or lunch spots. Now, they grabbed food, stared at their phones, and left. Slack messages were purely functional. The group chat where we used to plan birthdays turned into a graveyard. It's funny how a place can feel full even when nothing's happening. And then one day it's quiet enough to hear the vending machine hum and realize you're all just clocking in and waiting for 5:00. And for the first time, I didn't feel guilty about it. After a month of dead silence, Brad decided it was time to bring the spark back. His words, not mine. Apparently, someone had told him that morale was slipping, and instead of realizing why, he decided to rebrand himself as the office's fun dad. It started small, emojis everywhere, 3 per sentence, and suddenly we were fam. Let's crush this project today. Happy Monday, team. It was like he just discovered the emoji keyboard and decided that was leadership. Then came the meeting. Midway through a sprint review, he tried to be relatable. Marcus was presenting a revenue chart when Brad cut in and said, "That's bussin', right?" Silence. Real heavy silence. You could hear the click of Tasha muting herself because she was about to laugh. Marcus fake coughed and said, "Sure, Brad, totally bussin'." Brad grinned like he'd just unlocked Gen Z mode. That same week, Trevor officially appointed himself Brad's sidekick. The man was everywhere, always one step behind Brad, carrying a notebook like he was documenting greatness. I can spearhead culture initiatives, Cantinayas, he offered during a call, leaning forward like he'd just volunteered to storm Normandy. 2 days later, he launched Morning Motivation Minute, a Slack huddle scheduled for 8:45 a.m. Just a short pep talk to start the day strong. Nobody joined. He sat there alone, camera on, waiting. I know because I saw the little green dot next to his name for 15 minutes straight. After that, he started signing off every message with, "We're one team," while CCing Brad on literally everything. If I emailed him, "Can you review this?" he'd reply, "Absolutely, CCing Brad for alignment." It was like working with a hall monitor who thought he was saving the company one email at a time. Then HR made things worse. They sent out an announcement. Let's pick a team mascot. It was supposed to be a fun team-building thing. Brad, of course, took it very seriously. "I think the golden eagle works as a mascot. Leadership, vision, strength," he said in the meeting, standing like he was pitching to Shark Tank. Trevor nodded immediately. "Love that. Very aspirational." The rest of us voted for raccoon. Marcus said it first. "We survive on scraps and caffeine." Everyone laughed. Tasha ran with it. By the next morning, she had designed a full logo, a raccoon holding a coffee mug with dark circles under its eyes. She named it Ricky the Raccoon. We uploaded it to Slack as an emoji, and it spread like wildfire. Within hours, Ricky replaced every old reaction. Brad pretended to like it. "Love that creativity team," he said, clearly dying inside. Trevor called it playful energy and tried to claim it represented resilience through transformation. No one listened. A week later, HR doubled down and scheduled a vision board workshop. Some outside consultant came in to help us visualize our professional goals. She brought magazines, glue sticks, and way too much confidence. Everyone sat around the conference table cutting out random pictures like kindergartners. Brad was gluing photos of light bulbs and people high-fiving. Trevor's board said efficiency through alignment in giant letters. Mine had a taco, a beach, and a dog wearing sunglasses. I wrote work-life balance at the top. The consultant stopped behind me and smiled like she'd found a hidden genius. "That's symbolic," she said softly. "Yeah," I said, "of lunch." She didn't stop by my table again. Brad began sending motivational emails titled Vibes Check. Yes, the same phrase I'd put in the center square of buzzword bingo, with fire emojis slapped on the end. Inside were generic quotes about teamwork, followed by random emojis. Sometimes the emojis didn't even match. One message said, "Let's keep grinding," followed by a penguin, a light bulb, and a skull. Then came the moment that nearly broke Kara. Someone in operations got laid off, and Brad, trying to engage with empathy, reacted to the announcement with a crying face emoji. Kara DM'd me 5 minutes later. "I'm 2 emojis away from quitting." I told her to make it 3 for safety. Meanwhile, Trevor was thriving in his assistant to the boss energy. He started every sentence with, "Per Brad's direction," even when Brad hadn't directed anything. The man was like a pop-up notification you couldn't mute. During a team meeting, he shared a PowerPoint titled Reviving Workplace Culture. It had clip art fireworks and quotes from people who definitely never said those things. The last slide read, "Happiness equals productivity." Tasha whispered, "Tell that to the raccoon." I almost lost it, but the best part, the true highlight, came later that week. I was heading to the break room when Brad cornered me in the hallway wearing that over-friendly smile. "Hey, ma'am," he said, clapping his hands once like a football coach. "I've noticed you've been a little quiet lately. People really look up to you, you know. Maybe you could help bring back some of that energy." I looked at him. "I'm focusing on deliverables," I said. He nodded like I'd just given him a TED Talk. "Exactly. Love that mindset. Let's make focus the new fun." Then he walked off looking proud of himself. I stood there for a second trying to process that he just called focus fun. That was Brad's renaissance. All emojis, empty pep talks, and zero self-awareness. Trevor was his hype man. Kara was on the brink. Marcus was stockpiling snacks again. And Tasha was quietly designing new Ricky emojis just to cope. I didn't need to say anything. The whole thing spoke for itself. Culture was officially dead, but at least it had a mascot now. By spring, Brad had a new obsession: AI. He called it the future of workplace efficiency. Translation: he discovered ChatGPT and thought it could replace human interaction. He announced it in our Monday stand-up. We'll be using AI to enhance communication and optimize leadership outreach. Everyone just stared. Marcus whispered, "He means emails, right?" Brad grinned. "Exactly. Imagine saving hours drafting messages. This is innovation, folks." Tasha muttered, "Imagine if he stopped emailing altogether. That's innovation." A few days later, the first test went live. Brad sent out a company-wide birthday message clearly enhanced by AI. Subject line: Happy birthday, employee name. Body: Happy employee name. Your work means a lot to company name. Keep thriving and synergizing. He forgot to replace the placeholders. By noon, everyone had a screenshot. It spread through Slack like wildfire. Someone replied with the Michael Scott, "Oh my God, okay, it's happening," gif. People reacted with laughing and crying emojis. The meme flood started instantly. Within an hour, there was a new format going around. Happy chaos. Your leadership means a lot to pain. It popped up everywhere. On whiteboards, post-it notes, even a coffee mug someone ordered overnight. Brad didn't get it. He called it a viral success in internal branding. Trevor tried to spin it as positive feedback. "People are engaging with your content, Brad." Brad nodded. "Exactly. That's authentic interaction." Meanwhile, morale hit a new kind of weird. The silence from before wasn't gone. It just evolved. Now it had background noise, forced cheer, everyone laughing at leadership instead of with it. Then came the Team Spirit Survey, April, tied to the AI rollout. It was a quick pulse meant to measure engagement after the rollout. 50 questions, all painfully corporate. The first one said, "Please list your name for tracking." So much for anonymous feedback. HR's newsletter also always attributes select responses by initials, what they call transparency. Question 7. How inspired do you feel by leadership's vision? I wrote, about as inspired as a printer jam. Question 23. Describe our company culture in one word. I put snackless. A week later, HR published an internal newsletter featuring positive employee highlights. One quote stood out. "Our workplace reminds me of a printer jam, messy, but full of potential." JD. I almost choked on my coffee. They literally used my sarcasm as a motivational quote. Trevor called it brilliant employee insight. Brad said, "That's the spirit we need." Marcus said, "You've reached the point where you're accidentally inspiring people." By now, watching Brad and Trevor run this place was like watching a car slowly back into a wall while the driver insists everything's fine. They were blind to how disconnected everything felt. Brad kept calling it the culture reboot. Trevor said we were building a new chapter of synergy. Everyone else just kept quiet, heads down, surviving. I used to laugh at how corporate they sounded, but at that point, it wasn't even funny anymore. It was predictable. The spark was gone, replaced with long meetings, bad metaphors, and leadership pretending AI was teamwork. Later that week, Brad sent another AI-generated message to the company. "Together, we are stronger than our bandwidth." Nobody knew what that meant. Marcus whispered, "I think our bandwidth just gave up." Tasha posted a raccoon emoji. Half the office reacted with it. I didn't bother saying anything. It wasn't even annoying anymore. It was hopeless. Watching the leadership fix morale was like watching a PowerPoint slowly burn, and somehow they thought the smoke was progress. By early summer, June, the office had that kind of quiet tension you could taste. Every quarter, HR ran an internal employee engagement survey. Usually, no one cared, but someone, probably Kara, forwarded the raw results to the wrong thread. Suddenly, the entire company had access. The summary was brutal. Question: what's the best part of working here? Top answer: Janet J. Duke. Question: what's the biggest drain on morale? Top answer: communication, aka Brad and Trevor. No one said it out loud, but you could feel the shift. Slack exploded with raccoon emojis. People renamed their group chats things like Scrappy Vibes Only and Team Ricky. Trevor tried to act unfazed, but you could see him sweating through his button-down. Brad sent out a message 5 minutes later. Let's remember surveys are learning tools, not scorecards. Let's stay positive. It got 2 reactions, one from Trevor, one from the company bot. By Wednesday, Brad had called a team reflection meeting. You could tell it was his damage control special. The agenda said, rebuilding trust and accountability. Trevor started it off naturally. He stood by the projector like a TED Talk reject. I think it's important to note that some of these results reflect disengagement from certain individuals. When someone who used to lead by example checks out, it sets the wrong tone for the team. The room went still. Even Marcus stopped pretending to type. Before Brad could chime in, Kara, who'd been sitting quietly in the back, stood up. I'd like to share something, she said, plugging in her laptop. A slide popped up. It was a line chart labeled Department Morale Index Q1 to Q2. The line was steady, high, then suddenly nosedived. She highlighted the dip. This drop happened the week Janet stopped managing informal morale activities. Silence. Tasha's mouth twitched like she was holding in a laugh. Marcus leaned back in his chair and said, That's pretty clear data. Brad cleared his throat. Well, we can't rely on one person for engagement. Kara didn't flinch. Apparently you already did. Brad blinked like he'd been slapped by a spreadsheet. Trevor shifted in his seat, looking at his notes like they might save him. The meeting wrapped with the usual nonsense about collaborative recovery, but the tone had changed. For once, everyone saw it, how the fake positivity came from the top and the real stuff had been running through me the whole time. Later that afternoon, Kara messaged me. Can you stop by HR tomorrow? Want to run something by you. The next day, her office smelled like vanilla candles and disinfectant. She smiled as I sat down, looking almost proud. So, she said, after reviewing survey data and performance metrics, leadership wants to create a new position. We're calling it Employee Engagement Specialist. I raised an eyebrow. That's a real title? It will be, she said. It comes with a 15% salary increase, a quarterly event budget, and you'd report directly to HR. Not under Brad? I asked. Correct, she said, smiling wider. I didn't even try to hide it. Then yeah, I'm interested. She slid a printout across the desk. It had all the details. Salary bump, responsibilities, even a note about creative autonomy. Just one condition, I said. No unpaid events and no forced fun. Agreed, she said. We want this to be real, not performative. That word performative was doing heavy lifting. I signed the paperwork. The following Monday, I took the walk. Brad's door was open. He was pretending to look busy, eyes glued to an empty Excel sheet. Trevor was sitting across from him, nodding at nothing, like a bobblehead with Wi-Fi issues. I knocked once. Hey, just giving you both a heads up. I'll be moving under HR next week. Brad looked up confused. Oh, really? What for? They created a new role, I said. Employee Engagement Specialist. Trevor blinked. Engagement? Isn't that? Yeah, I said, exactly that. Brad's face twitched. Well, I see. Congratulations, I suppose. Who's handling morale now? I smiled. Guess you'll have to circle back on that. Then I walked out. By lunchtime, the announcement hit everyone's inbox. Subject, exciting news. Congratulations to Janet J. Duke. We're thrilled to announce that Janet J. Duke will be stepping into a new role as Employee Engagement Specialist. For years, Janet has been the heartbeat of Redline's culture, and we're excited to see her continue to bring her creativity and leadership to company-wide initiatives. Slack exploded, raccoon emojis everywhere. Tasha pinned the original Ricky meme with the caption, "The Queen returns." Kara added, "Yep." Trevor went offline for focused time. Brad didn't say a word. It felt weird seeing all the chaos I used to clean up finally line up in my favor. For once, I wasn't doing extra work for free or smoothing over their messes. That afternoon, I walked past Brad's office again. He was staring at his monitor like it had betrayed him. Trevor was pacing, mumbling something about brand consistency. I didn't stop, just kept walking. The same fridge that once had "Who stole my yogurt?" notes now had a new one taped to it. Ricky says, "Take what you need, leave good vibes." I didn't write it. Someone else did. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like the mascot. I felt like the boss of my own energy. 2 months after the promotion, things finally stopped feeling like a bad sitcom. My new title, Employee Engagement Specialist, still looked ridiculous in my email signature, But every time I saw the pay bump hit my account, it grew on me. Kara set me up with a small office on the HR floor, window view of the parking lot, working AC, and a door that actually closed. A massive upgrade from my old spot next to the copier that sounded like a jet engine. On my first day, she handed me a company card and said, "Don't abuse the budget and try not to spend it all on tacos." I said, "I'll do my best," which was a lie. I started simple. Built a morale calendar, not the forced everyone must participate kind Brad loved, but an opt-in system. Anyone could volunteer to host or help. And if no one did, fine. No guilt trips, no "we're one family" speeches. Then I formalized Snack Cart 2.0. It's now an official company expense. HR approved a weekly restock budget, and I even got a shared spreadsheet to track requests. Marcus handled the math because, well, finance guy. The snack selection became an office obsession. People started leaving sticky notes like, "Save me a Kit Kat," and "Ricky says thanks." The raccoon had basically become our brand mascot at this point. Next, I revived the DJ of the Week playlist. Every Friday, someone new takes over the office music. The rule is no skipping. You commit to the chaos. The first week was Kara, pop hits and acoustic covers. Then Marcus, who went full 2000s pop punk. Brad walked in during Sugar We're Going Down, nodded like he was pretending to recognize it, and walked right back out. Even Xbox Fridays came back, this time properly scheduled and budget approved. We added a sign-up sheet to keep it fair, and HR paid for pizza. I didn't think much of it until the first week it returned. Half the office showed up. Real smiles, real laughter, no one pretending. It hit me how long it had been since the place felt alive. Over the next few weeks, things started to move again. People actually said good morning. Slack came back to life. Kara even joined the meme channel, posting a raccoon sticker with the caption, "Keeping spirits up responsibly." HR humor. You love to see it. One afternoon, Marcus dropped a Snickers bar on my desk without saying a word. A few seconds later, he turned back and said, "Glad you didn't quit, Janet." "Me too," I said, and I meant it. The shift wasn't instant, but it was real. People stopped walking around with that just surviving energy. There were still deadlines and stress, sure, but it didn't feel heavy anymore. Brad mostly avoided me now. Every time I passed him, he gave a tight smile, the kind that says I'm being polite, but also hate this situation. HR probably told him to let Janet's program develop organically, which is corporate speak for don't touch it. Trevor, though, couldn't help himself. He came by my new office one morning holding a clipboard, looking like he was about to conduct an audit. "Hey, Janet," he said, all cheerful. "Just checking if you need any help tracking morale metrics. I've been working on some pivot tables." I stared at him. "Yeah, sure," I said. "I'll circle back." Of course I didn't. The first major event I organized under my new title was End of Quarter Appreciation Friday. Not a big thing, just a nice way to wrap up a rough quarter and remind everyone we weren't just data points. We had a taco bar, trivia, and a chill playlist. Kara helped set up the decorations, and Tasha designed a new Ricky the Raccoon banner that said, "Thriving in Chaos since 2020. By noon, the break room was packed. People actually stuck around instead of grabbing food and disappearing. Marcus and Tasha ran trivia. I handled music. Kara did a quick thank you speech that didn't sound like HR filler. Then Brad showed up, clipboard in hand. He walked around smiling stiffly, nodding at everything like he was grading it. "Great energy in here," he said to no one. Trevor followed him in, hovering near the snack table, narrating everything. "This is awesome, Janet. Great turnout. Love the initiative." I could tell he was trying to look like part of it, but no one really acknowledged him. Kara was busy running the raffle. Tasha was DJing. Marcus was cracking jokes. Brad tried to take pictures, realized no one was posing, and put his phone away. They both left about 10 minutes later. After they were gone, the vibe relaxed again. Trivia got competitive. People were laughing. Someone spilled salsa and no one cared. For a moment, it felt like a normal place to work, not a corporate experiment. Tasha caught me watching and said, "You're like the office raccoon whisperer." I said, "I prefer director of vibes." She smirked. HR would love that. Later that night, after everyone left, I stayed behind cleaning up. The break room smelled like tacos and cheap paper plates, the playlist still running quietly. I looked at the banner Tasha made and couldn't help smiling. Monday morning, I came in early and noticed something new on Trevor's monitor, a raccoon sticker. Same design as the banner with a Sharpie label under it. Management trainee. Definitely Tasha's work. The fact he hadn't removed it yet made it even funnier. Brad sent out an email later that afternoon. Subject: Appreciating our culture champions. I want to take a moment to recognize the incredible energy we've seen lately across the office. Huge shout out to Janet and HR for leading the charge. Let's keep up the momentum, fam. It got 50 reactions, every single one a raccoon emoji. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Work just felt easy again. The systems ran themselves. People took ownership. I didn't have to hold everything together anymore. It held itself. Kara checked in once a week just to make sure I wasn't overdoing it. And for once, I wasn't. We even set up a mini recognition program. Whoever helped with morale events got an extra hour off the next week. It was small but fair. People actually volunteered now. No guilt, no resentment. By the end of the month, the office felt like a different place. Not perfect, but human. Brad still threw around buzzwords in meetings. Trevor still CC'd him on every email, but no one cared anymore. They didn't matter like they used to. Friday rolled around again. Xbox, music, snacks, the usual. I was packing up when Marcus walked over holding a controller. You in? Yeah, I said, just one round. We played until the lights flickered, everyone laughing at Tasha trash-talking like she was in the finals. When the room finally emptied, I leaned against the counter, finishing my soda. The fridge hummed quietly. Someone had taped a new note to it. In Ricky we trust, snacks for all. And I didn't write that one either. For the first time in years, I wasn't patching holes or covering for anyone. I wasn't the office mascot anymore. I was running something that actually mattered and getting paid for it. They used to call it unprofessional. Now it's in the budget.